The Doctor Who Magic the Gathering set just might be the best Universes Beyond set to date. Well, at least in my opinion it is. Hello my friends, 'tis I, Mel the Maneater, Magic the Gathering personality and self-proclaimed Super Wholock. What's that? What is a Super Wholock, you might ask? Well, allow me to enlighten you. I'm going to tell you exactly what a Super Wholock is and why it makes me more than qualified to share my very based thoughts and opinions about this Doctor Who Magic the Gathering set. Let's bring it back to summer of 2014, shall we? When a young Mel had just turned, well, 14. I had a crush on this guy who lived in my neighborhood who watched Doctor Who, and I was looking for any way I could connect with him more. So there I am in my bed, having my first Netflix binge session ever on my phone under my covers so my parents didn't find out I was still awake. Watching the first season of the Doctor Who revival series, starting with the 9th Doctor. And very quickly, what started as something I did to impress a guy turned into my newfound obsession with a capital O. I watched the entirety of the available seasons of Doctor Who that summer, and eventually watched all the way through the 12th Doctor. During this time, I was on Pinterest like any other teenage girl in the 2010s, except I was a nerdy girl in the 2010s, which means my Pinterest boards consisted of every Disney bound known to man, cosplays I would never create, memes, and a whole lot of fanfiction. And as I was there innocently scrolling through Doctor Who memes that I would send to people that they wouldn't understand, I came across a funky term, Super Wholock. So I looked into it and found out that there was more to this niche group of Doctor Who fangirls than I thought. If you watched Doctor Who, Supernatural, and Sherlock, and ascended to the rank of Super Wholock. As I don't commit to anything halfway, I decided everyone must know that I was a sucker for witty men with brown hair that may or may not have magical powers, and I committed myself to the Super Wholock creed. The amount of Doctor Who themed clothes I had at this time of my life was not nearly as much as I wanted. I lived, ate, breathed, slept this show. So long story short, I was a super fangirl for Doctor Who loved shopping at Hot Topic and wanted to be the TARDIS, aka the Doctor's wife. With all of that Mel the Maneater lore being said, let's dig into every bit of art and flavor text we can, shall we? I'm gonna start out with one of my personal favorite cards from the set so far, Past in Flames. This art is very special to me because it's an art from the show, and from one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes of all time. In this episode, the 11th Doctor goes to visit Vincent van Gogh after River shows him a painting Van Gogh made of the TARDIS exploding. And of course it has the same vibe of the Starry Night painting. I also love this spell's effect giving your instants and sorceries in your graveyard flashback for a turn, like you're flashing them back in time using the TARDIS. This whole part of the show with Vincent van Gogh made me super emotional, and so this being the foil promo card for this set makes my heart so happy. Speaking of River, the legendary creature River's song is fantastic.
Fantastic.
Her art is amazing. Her ability Meet in Reverse that has you draw cards from the bottom of your library instead of the top is hilarious. And of course, River has to have an ability called Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoilers? What spoilers?
That punishes people for scrying or searching their library for cards. I also just love that the card depicts her going, shh, spoilers. This card is just an 11 out of 10 for me. I want to talk about the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler Commander deck so bad, but I'm gonna have to wait till the end because there is just so much to unpack there. So let's talk about the big baddies, the Daleks. More specifically, the creator of the Daleks, Davos Dalek Creator. First of all, he looks just as gross and weird looking as he did in the show, and I appreciate that. His abilities as your commander are also insane. Essentially, if you do 3 or more damage to a player your turn, you get to create a 3/3 Dalek artifact creature token. With menace, of course, and then each player that was dealt 3 damage that turn faces a villainous choice. of either you drawing a card or them discarding a card. I haven't seen the full deck list for this commander yet, but it already looks amazing to me. Of course, this set would not be complete without a spell called Exterminate. And god damn, does this card go nuts. You can tap one Dalek artifact creature token you control to pay the replicate cost, and you can tap any amount of Daleks that you can tap to keep paying the replicate cost. You can then pick a new target for each time you replicated this spell, and each of those targets are destroyed and their owner takes 3 damage.
Maximum extermination. Exterminate.
This spell only costs 3 mana. It is going to be busted in this deck. In the same Dalek deck, you have the alternate commander, Missy, aka the Master, who is one of the Doctor's oldest friends, but one of his greatest enemies. Her creating Cybermen out of dead things in your graveyard is perfect because, well, that's essentially what Cybermen are. And I just love the sass and finesse that she has in the art of this card. This card is also a super viable commander for this deck, creating 2/2 Cybermen from things inside of your graveyard, forcing your opponents to decide between them taking 1 damage from each artifact creature you control, or you getting to draw a card and chaos ensuing on whatever plane you're on, which can be game-changing. I love Plane Chase. I think it is a super fun way to mix things up in casual Commander, and I don't think that there's a better universe beyond to do this in than the Doctor Who universe. There's the Fixed Point in Time Plane, there's the TARDIS Bay, which is a whole universe in itself, there's Bad Wolf Bay. I just made myself sad. And the ability is that you exile a creature, and the chaos effect is that they can't return from exile? I'm gonna go cry now. If you watch the show, you know I am dying on the inside. On the same note of crying and wanting to die on the inside, look at the farewell card. Just read the flavor text. But I don't want to go. God, I'm actually gonna start crying. This is so dumb. When I watched this scene, I cried. I cried so hard. The sadness and the uncertainty in his voice.
I don't want to go.
After going through the amazing adventures that we went through with the 10th Doctor, leading up to this moment, just tear my freaking heart out, goddamn. Well, Wizards of the Coast, you did a great job on the card considering you made me very emotional, so good job. Whatever. Anyways, moving on from the emotional damage. Before we get into the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler, I would like to mention some cards that may or may not be in this set. I just haven't seen them yet, but I would really like to see them. Firstly, I would love to have a card that's a legendary creature that has Captain Jack Harkness on it, aka the face of Bo. I had the fattest crush on Captain Jack, and I still kind of do. I feel like having a card with him on it and the flavor text referencing his nickname given to him by the Time Agents as the face of Bo, or vice versa, would be so cool. I'm also really hoping to see something on the 11th Doctor, aka Matt Smith. I did read the description of the timey-wimey commander deck, and it does say it includes the 9th and 11th Doctors, so he better be in there. And I better be getting something on Amy and Rory because they deserve it. I think it would also be great if we got a card that was the Doctor's wife version of the TARDIS with her big hair and her poofy dress and her prancing around saying, "My doctor." I think it would be so cute. We finally arrived at the poster children of this set. The 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler. I love these action shot arts of them. I think it definitely adds more spice to the card rather than them just kind of existing on it. The 10th Doctor is going to make for such a fun commander, especially as Rose Tyler being your companion commander. Whenever you attack with any creature while the 10th Doctor is in play, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You then put 3 time counters on it and it's suspended in exile. Other than at the beginning of your upkeep, there are going to be numerous ways, including the 10th Doctor's second ability, Timey-Wimey, to remove time counters or add time counters to your cards in suspension. When there are no more time counters on said suspended card, you get to play that card for free, and if it's a creature, it gains haste. I love exile shenanigans. I love Cascade, I love Blinking, I love Foretelling, I love it all. So I can tell this commander is going to become a favorite of mine, especially since Rose Tyler's card seems kind of broken. Rose Tyler gets a +1/+1 counter for each time counter on her, and her kick-ass ability Bad Wolf says whenever she attacks, she gets a +1/+1 counter for every card you have suspended and for every card you have with a time counter on it in play. I did not foresee them making Rose Tyler a big stompy card, but I kind of love that she is. I also love that they used Bad Wolf Rose Tyler because that just makes my fangirl heart happy. For this set, they are only creating 4 Doctor Who Commander decks, and of course Doctor Who Collector Booster Packs, where you can find amazing TARDIS showcase arts and rainbow serialized versions of the Doctors. I think that this set is perfect. The Universes Beyond Warhammer 40k set released last year was only Commander decks, and that has been one of my absolute favorite releases to date. I think keeping this set very concise and specific will make it feel that much more vibrant and rich in Doctor Who lore and appreciation. If you want to hear more information on what cards you will find in the Doctor Who set release, I am creating a product guide that will be released later this week before the set release, so that you can be more informed on which products you do or do not want to buy from this set. So keep your eye out for that. I genuinely could go on and 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 on about how in love I am with this whole set, and how much I cannot wait to get my hands on it. The set release is on October 13th, which is also the first day of Command Fest Portland, which I will be at. I am so excited to experience opening and playing with these commander decks with the rest of the Magic the Gathering community. I'm also excited to see what cards we might pull from these amazing collector booster packs. What are your thoughts on these cards? I would love to continue this conversation with all of you beautiful people in the comments down below. If you're a fellow Super Wholock or just a nerd who likes Magic the Gathering, also like myself, please consider subscribing to this channel, as it is currently the #1 way that you can support me making more Magic the Gathering content for all of you lovely Magic fans out there. I'll see you guys in my next video, or hey, maybe I'll run into you in Command Fest Portland. Bye!